That's all I care about. And I'm not saying that it was. It was an initial assessment, but even the White House recognizes that CNN accurately reported what was in those documents that were on that internal website that they were allowed to review, or they were given opportunity to review. So why do I care why? All I care is it true or not? If it's politically motivated and it's inaccurate, then I'm going to point out, if I can, that the information is inaccurate. That's the point. All this political rhetoric, it's a total distraction from the actual issue, and we've got to train ourselves to not allow that to occur to us, that we look at the facts. I mean, we're supposed to be in the critical thinking forum here, so we should be critically thinking about the information that is in front of us and not worry about all this other nonsense that we hear from people who are trying to protect their own positions and defend their positions, or whatever it is that they're trying to do. I don't care about that either. I want to know what the truth is as best as I can get to it.
One last point, Gary, and I'll go down because I know you need time. Trump just said, I think it was yesterday or today, that Iran should turn over any enriched uraniums that they still have. Well, if we, trust Pete, it's underground and you need a shovel and it's below whatever, 30, floors of whatever. Now there is talks about, well, in case they took it out, we need them to turn it over. Which way is it?
One other thing comes to mind, and I will shut up because there are a lot of people wanting to speak. And that is, we expect when we ask a politician or a government official a question that they have the answer to our question. I submit that there is no shame in answering with 3 words: I don't know. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with saying, Mr. Secretary of Defense, did we get rid of all of their nuclear capabilities, or is it possible that they have, and him saying, I don't know? What's wrong with that? If he doesn't know, he doesn't know. Which I suspect might actually be the answer to all of this. But I don't know either. Thank you, Monsef. Brian.
Hi, Gary. I'm not going to argue one way or the other because I'm like you. I don't know, and I know that there's conflicting information. I would just like to see the truth. There are things that bother me, and there's some things that I'd like to point out. I mean, Trump was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but he was the first one out of the gate to come on TV and to talk about, the nuclear sites were obliterated, and he was also the first one to talk about, you guys questioning this when this CNN report came out. You're making the pilots cry. I'm glad I followed Monsef and he heard the same thing. So, that kind of bothers me. And then his followers, they pretty much take everything he says the word for granted. But there's things that we're not talking about that's bothering me. Whenever we had the tornado earlier, and whenever you see natural disasters, always a recovery. When those places were bombed, there was no casualties, like you mentioned yesterday. There's no rescue, or what's that? What I'm talking about? There's no rescue, recovery stuff going on. The bombs dropped. So, those things aren't automated. If there's enrichment of uranium and that kind of thing going on, that should be like a working factory or laboratory, whatever you want to call it. So, where's the radiation? Where's the bodies? Where's the search and recovery? Nothing like that's being talked about. Trump also said, I know where the Ayatollah is, so you guys watch yourself. Come to find out, reports came out saying nobody knew where he was. Well, he came out of the rock today or yesterday. And he's claiming, you guys didn't hurt us. And
Everybody's claiming victory. As I pointed out in the chat, it's a win-win-win.
Right.
The United States declared victory, Israel declared victory, and now the Ayatollah is. This is like a kid's soccer game. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody's a.
And he's putting out, and he's being defiant today, saying, we still got your U.S. military sites in our sites, so don't mess with us anymore. And back to Trump coming out of the gate, him and Netanyahu are going to be in step with one another. Netanyahu, he asked for his criminal trial to be delayed today, and I'm not positive on it, but I think it also was delayed. So in his assessments are matching up with Trump's, and then Trump also made public statements that Netanyahu's trial was a witch hunt like his and that type of thing. And so they're supporting one another. That may just be the friendship and have nothing to do with the information, but it leads me to believe that one's not going to conflict with the other one as far as other areas go, like information and that type of thing. But that's kind of the things that it stinks. The whole thing stinks. And the fact that they're not giving Congress all of the information, and Hegseth comes out with his squirrely statements, and if it's destroyed and you have proof it's destroyed, why not just give the people, at least Congress, all of the information? Give us what you think we should know to show that it's been destroyed. You know what I mean? Why not? It's all over it's chaotic. It's all over the board. It's conflicting. I mean, it shouldn't be like that. But that's where I'm at now. Now, shouldn't there have been people in those areas? I mean, when those facilities, there's 3 of them, were destroyed, and I mean, it's almost like they knew ahead of time or expected it to be bombed, and they cleared that place
out. Even the president said that. They knew we were coming. He said that.
Yeah, so, I don't know where the uranium is. I know Russia offered to house and keep the uranium for Iran. I don't know if that happened or not. I don't know. That seems like we would be able to catch that if it happened. But anyway, that's where I'm at, Gary. Thanks.
Great debate right now in Israel, and answer your question over the president sticking his nose into what a lot of Israelis feel is internal business, and demanding that they drop the criminal case against Netanyahu. That country is as divided over Netanyahu as our country is over Trump. And there are a lot of people who appreciate what Trump did with regard to Iran, but who are being highly critical of him over those statements, which, by the way, the way he presented it, it was as if he didn't know this was going on. How did he not know this was going on? Either he's being disingenuous about that, or he was oblivious to it. And I don't know how he could have been oblivious to that, but who knows? By the way, with regard to whether uranium was moved before the attack, which again, it's another, I don't know, we don't know. There was, and I can't remember the source in the Israeli government, but the Israeli government said, somebody, that we know where the uranium is. That statement came out. Now, if that's accurate, and again, I'm not saying that it is, then that means that the nuclear program was not totally obliterated. Maybe with regard to the 3 sites, but that doesn't mean that it was obliterated. If they know where it is, that would presuppose that it's not all, at least, where the 3 targets were. We are at 6 o'clock New York time. we will get to everybody on the stage. We will not add anybody to the stage. However, Steve.
Yeah, Gary. The idea of